Hello. Hi. Hi. Hi, guys. Hi. I feel like I've done this 3 times in a row. I should really check it before I get on. There you go. Okay. What's up, yo? What's up? What's up? What's up? I haven't done just like a collective reading for no reason in a while, but it feels like I just wanted to come sit and talk to you and see what's up. Let's pull some cards. Let's pull some cards. Let's see what's going on, you know? Yay, I know. Hello to you too. Hello to you too. Yeah, I feel like normally when I have the collective readings come on, I've been basing them on astrology stuff recently, and it just tonight I was like, I don't know why, I just got to get on though. I don't know what the transit is that's going to be important or whether, I don't know yet, but we're going to find out. We're going to see. Grief? Grief? What is that? Head stuff, mental. We just have Venus enter Aries. Hey, hello. Yeah, we just have Venus enter Aries. So the mind, because Aries rules the head. So the mind, we're looking at mind stuff. Mind, be kind to the mind. You got, ooh, goodness. We have so much. We have the mind. Be kind to your mind. Take care of your mental health how you need to. Take care of your mental health how you need to. Okay, everybody's at a different. Everyone is at a different place in their journey when it comes to that. Everyone's moving differently. Everyone's sitting in a different position. Make sure you're taking care of your head. Okay, make sure you're taking care of your head. Take care of that big old beautiful brain of yours. Take care of it. Take care of it. Take care of it. Yeah, take care of it. Take care of it. Take care of it. Because you got a rare mind, everybody's mind is so different. So be kind to your mind. Be kind to it. Be kind to it. Because there's something that you're about to be unblinded to. Okay. It's like also, I love the fact that your name is Nunya. That is fantastic. I don't know. And there's a love that joined in. Listen, the names are naming. Thanks for being here. That's great. There's something that you're going to be unblinded to. You know how sometimes you ever been through something where somebody convinces you that you're the wrong one when you really didn't do anything wrong? Love you too. When you really didn't do anything wrong, or like it's like somebody has you messed up in the head. Have you ever been through something where somebody has you messed up in the head and you're like thinking about yourself, or what did I do wrong, or what am I doing bad? And it's like all your fault when really, like, if you took a step back and looked at the situation, you didn't do anything wrong in the first place and they were the ones. It's like that's like a, how do I explain that without using that word that just came into my head? How do I explain that? Ooh. I know the word that I need to use, but I don't necessarily want it to stick, because then we're getting in. I was talking about mental health, so I guess that's true. That's like narcissistic stuff. That's what that is. That's an abuse tactic. Is like somebody convincing you that you're the one that's messed up when really it's like, isn't that called gaslighting? Isn't that specifically what it's called? Okay, interesting. So don't know where this is coming from, but apparently this is not anything I've been working on in my life. Interesting. But we got to talk about it. It's like people have you convinced that you're the one who's messed up when really it's like they just need you stressed so they can feed on you, or they need you pressed so that they can feed on you, or they need you in a mess so that they can feed on you. Okay, none of that. None of it. None of it. None of it. There's like something that you're about to be unblinded to. It's like, okay, I see the reality now. Okay, I see the picture. I see the big picture. I see what's really going on. And whatever this thing is that's been weighing on your head, or like you've just been thinking about it. Why is this happening? What's really happening? What's really going on? Why is it all the stuff going on? Mental activity. Okay. There's about to be clarity that comes through. When's the next moon that we have that's in a fire sign? Hold on. Because I know the full moon is in Leo, but what do we have coming up? Let's check it. It got bright. It got bright. Change the computer screen. Hold on. Because I think the moon right now is in Taurus. So yeah, the next full moon. Okay, the next moon that's a fire sign is Leo. So there's gonna be some light that comes into the head. Gaslighting to keep you confused. Yeah. Also, what's up, Mads? Hi. Yeah. It's something confusion, something that's of illusion. It might not be necessarily like the gaslighting for some people, but just like there's an illusion that's been on the head, an illusion that's been on the mind. So be kind to your mind, because sometimes if we're blind, we're not supposed to see it yet. It's about to be lifted though. There's like something that you're about to be able to see very clearly. And when you see it very clearly, it's like what I see is people immediately being like, Oh, it's not my fault. Oh, I actually understand. And then you're able to it's charge in again, like charge in, charge in, charge in. Whatever it is that you've been thinking about wanting to do, something's going to be revealed to you where you're going to be able to go through, okay, I got it now. Okay, I can do it. Okay, I got it. 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 I don't have to worry about it. I just got it. I just got it. That's a relief. That's a relief. Oh, I just got it. You know, I see why now. Hello. So good. So good. All right, what else we have going on? Some things we're blinded to. What else we have going on, man? It really gets I've been feeling that recently too. It's like I can feel my head's about to receive some kind of clarity recently. I get kind of antsy. I've noticed this about myself. This is a side tangent. I've noticed that about myself when I can put two and two together and I can put two and two together to make four and there's another two and now I got six and there's another two and now I got eight. I have enough pattern recognition when it comes to spirit. These days, most of the time spirits they don't even have to tell me. Spirit doesn't even have to tell me like that's not true. I do need spirit to tell me every once in a while. Okay, so let me not disregard that. I love you, spirit. Love you, spirit. And also, there's sometimes where like I'm putting two and two together and then there's another two, and then I'm just recognizing the patterns that are around because I do need spirit. That's true. Maybe that's spirit talking to me indirectly. You know what? Valid. That's also true. That's also valid. It's like I'm putting the pattern recognition together. And I can see something coming to an end. I can see something coming to a close. And it's like, once I get told that, once I can see it, thank you, spirit. Once I can see it, it's like, okay. Well, now I just gotta sit and wait. Now I just gotta walk about it. I'm not there yet, but I'm gonna get there soon. I get kind of antsy sometimes when that happens. And I'm grateful for the fact that I can know that I have the knowings, and also would love to be able to have that clarity. Lift me up out of that disparity. Thank you, spirit. Love you, the highest spirit. I'm grateful for it. Okay. Some things we can't see. Some competition, grounding of a competition, grounding of a reversal of a competition. What is this? Queen of Wands grounding. There's more cards. Hold on. There's more to this one. A crossing. Oh, hello. Something you need to know. Don't forget that you're the star of your own show. Don't forget that you're the star of your own show. There's a lot that's going on in the world right now. Also, Pluto is in Aquarius, which has us working with other people. Don't forget that you're the star of your world. Whatever that world is, wherever you live, whatever you're doing, however you live, you're the one who's the star. You're the star of your show. Okay, so be the star of the show. Also, it's like grounding in it's very centered. It's a lot of stuff you can't see yet though. That's one of the things. I think it was this week on the podcast. I know it is. I know it's this week on the podcast. There's some things that kind of like click into place. And then all of a sudden the pathway in front of us opens up. Hello to you too. The optical illusions being uncovered is for real. Pull them off of me. I don't need to see, pull them off of me. Goodness gracious. We have lots of things grounded. Okay, that's what I was saying. Going back to this week's podcast. This week's podcast episode is like one big slab of earth in front of us goes whoosh, and like falls into place. There's a hole that's the exact same size of whatever that obstacle is in front of you. So it falls into the hole and then there's like a even path because it fell into the hole, right? Because the hole is the exact same size as whatever the obstacle was. And that the first one triggers a chain reaction where it's just like all these obstacles one after the other. And then the path is open up again. That happens this week. It's kind of already started. It was the 3rd, 4th, and 5th was like the timing of that. We still have the moon in Taurus right now. So that's the influence of it, or like it's helping to influence that. I know for me, I had a conversation, like not an internet conversation, but like with my friend the other day. I had a conversation. Someone who is not really like, how do I say? They're not really interested in my work, but like it's clear that my magic rubs off on them kind of thing. So they hold space for me to talk about things. They're a good person for me to, converse with if ever I need. And I was talking about what's going on just with work things, internet stuff. There's been some changes recently. We got the Coven, the community space up and running. So I was just giving that, we haven't talked in a while, me and this person. So I was giving them updates. And then in our conversation, like later in the conversation, there was some things that started to come through. And I was like, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute, wait a minute, hold on. This is starting to make a little bit more sense. It was like something kind of clicked into place. Something was there, was like a little bit of a shift, a little bit of a gift. It was like, oh, okay, I have clarity around this now. Oh, okay, this is something I didn't see before. Okay, thank you, thank you. So there's some things that are clicking into place. Some of this stuff, it's like grounding the fact that you're centered in yourself, grounding the fact that you're centered in your place and in your space, grounding the fact that you're centered in your creativity. Thank you, Spirit. That's for real. Thank you, highest Spirit. Thank you, highest Spirit. Yeah, thank you, highest Spirit. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. Grounding that you're grounding that you are grounded in the creativity. What else needs to be said about this? A crossing of the grounding of a king, the head of a king being grounded in the competition. Grounding of a competition, grounding of the head of a king. This is going to be more for masculine. This is going to be for more masculine energy. The feminine energy, and this is dependent. Some people have both. You know, I personally am understanding in the internal works of both of them working together. And also, however you might find kind of feminine, masculine archetypes throughout your life, there you go. Okay, so the feminine is really centering themselves, centering their creativity, centered, grounded, grounded, centered, grounded, surrounded. Okay, creativity. Good. Got it. We're going to move in then, because the masculine has got this cleared out, apparently. Goodness. Masculine's got this energy of there's a competition grounding, and it's like a crown on a head. It's like finally the king grounds. Finally the king grounds. There's like it's like a some sort of grounding. It's a something creative where it's like finally this person is recognized or lifted up out of a crowd, some kind of recognition, something that they've been working for, something that they've really been like going for, again, like the creative energy that's with the feminine. So then what I see is the creative energy with the feminine, that's kind of like an interpersonal thing, how, or like a, you know, just on a personal side of things. That's how I'm feeling about this, is like the feminine kind of, if you're in here and you feel resonatory with that, it's like you kind of already know what's being created or what's going on. But then with this masculine energy, it's like the masculine, what I see is kind of the masculine's been blind in the creative. It's like very competitive, or like the masculine is about to be plucked out of the crowd, plucked out. Here you go, plucked out. It's like what I see is the feminine. This is a lot about recognition. That's been coming through the previous couple of weeks about what Spirit's been bringing through, is like people are about to be recognized for the work that they've been doing. However that might fit into your life, like the work that you've been doing, community work, internally, okay, if you've been taking time to heal, however you sit with that, there's a lot of different ways that you could sit with that. So however you sit with that, if you've been doing work, whatever that work might be for you, the feminine in this recognition, it's more about the feminine, kind of just because the Queen of Wands can just, a lot of the time, not all the time, but a lot of times, can just like sit and weave and work and weave and create and weave and work, right? And then the masculine creativity is a little bit different though. So before I get to that, let's finish the feminine, because I feel like I gotta go back to that again. The feminine, it's like weave and work, weave and work. It's more about being still and shining. It's more about being still and shining. That's a lot of the feminine, is like stillness, groundedness, grounded, surrounded, shining. Okay, that's where that recognition really comes from. I'm the star, I'm the center, here I am. Here. Masculine energy is very like, it's like an elevation. It's an elevation. It's an elevation, and it's a, how do I say this? The grounding of the competition, and like, because when you're on the same level as everybody else, of course, there's not as much room. Think about, you know, when you were learning about gas and liquids and solids, and how when it's a liquid, there's like or not a liquid, pardon me, when it's a solid, the atomic structures are like super close to each other. And so they vibrate really, really close together, right? Whereas with liquid, it's like there's a little bit more room. They have a little bit more room to go. For talking about science, okay, they have a little bit more room. And then gas is like really spread out, so they bounce around, and we have a whole bunch of room in between them to like work together, right? So when it comes to when it comes to this masculine energy I'm seeing, it's like what it's been really dense. And so this masculine energy's had to be within this competition or competitive energy, competition, competitive energy, because there's all these different, there's not a lot of room for it to get around. There's a lot of like bumping up against each other. A lot of bumping up against each other with the masculine. It's like, I got to make room. I got to make room. And you're going to have it soon. You're going to have it soon because there's a grounding. There's some kind of like clarity or idea, some kind of a crown grounding also. So it could be like some clarity for the head, or like a something about the mind of the masculine, the head of the masculine. Something about is about to align. It's like it makes sense. Something makes sense. There's an idea, there's clarity, something clarity. And then it's like there's a seat at a higher perspective where that masculine is going to be lifted up to. For some, it'll be elevation, and also it's like an earned reward. It's an earned position, earned something the masculine has earned. Here, sit here and look at everything that has happened underneath of that level that you've earned. Look, you have to be able to have kind of like a higher perspective when that happens. So it's like what I see is it's like spirit finally is allowing it. Spirit's been working with me recently on things being allowed. What is allowed, what is not allowed, in the sense of like worldly things, of like sometimes things are allowed to happen, sometimes the rain is allowed to fall because the plants need it. So the allowance of things being allowed. So this is kind of like the masculine, if it's earned its position, is finally allowed to sit in that higher perspective and be in that higher perspective where now they can understand, they can see. Then there's emotions that are free. Then we can't see it yet. This is a lot of blindness stuff. This is a lot of, all these cards came out upside down, or like they came out so I saw this side of the card first, which is a lot of blindness. Like we couldn't see the message right when it grounded. We couldn't see the message right when it came out, right when it popped out. That's all right though. That's all right though. So there's a lot of, it's like emotional maturity. That's what I feel about this, is like emotional maturity on the other side of this kind of blind ride. There's emotional maturity, there's emotional wisdom. Thank you, Spirit, for that message. Emotional maturity, emotional wisdom. There's also going to be, there's something else. I feel like, no, let me just pull this one. That's all right. Interesting. Some sharing and caring, something rare. For some people, it will be rare. For some people, it will just be a share. Sometimes sharing is rare because it only happens every once in a while. And sometimes sharing it, however that might be applicable, could be someone that you're sharing with that you don't get to see very often. It could be that like you don't ever have like your group of friends together, and that rarity. Okay. It could be that the topic of conversation is a rare topic of conversation. There's a lot of ways that rarity can come into the picture. Rare. For some people, it's going to be rare. For some people, it's just going to be a share. Either way, though, it's going to be sharing. And sharing is caring a lot, at least in this situation. Sharing is caring. So when it comes to the sharing, it's like joyous abundance, joy. There's a lot of grounding in this. What I just heard. Okay, Spirit. Okay, Spirit. Okay, Spirit. Okay, Spirit. What I just heard is that your positions are grounding. Your positions are grounding. Your positions are grounding. Your positions. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Ugh. Your positions are grounding. Your positions. That feels so, it's like premonitions. I feel like the more I say it, the more I understand. Every time I say it, I understand something else about it. Your positions, because it's like positions in life, positions, relationship based, positions, career, positions, let yourself steer, put like drive, okay? Position yourself because you're going to go somewhere. Positions, positions and premonitions. If you have this is part, the North Node in Pisces. Let's take a step back into astrology for just a moment. North Node in Pisces is going to ask us to have a steep incline when it comes to our practices, a steep incline when it comes to understanding spiritual things, a steep incline, and it's going to be kind of uncomfortable. So when there's premonitions, I know for me, it's been super loud. Hello. And I am somebody who already sits in the spirit every single day and has messages come through every single day and dreams all the time. Oh, this is what I do. This is what I do full time. you know, I'm here with it. It's what it is. And also recently it's been even more than that, which is like crazy to even think that that is a possible thing. And also here we are. So recently I've been realizing the premonition, it's just like a lot more spiritual activity. There's a lot more spiritual activity, a lot more spiritual activity. So but it's uncomfortable a little bit because spirit's been having me get up and do different things. It's like practice these new things. You understand, for me, spirit talking to me. You understand your magic, you understand your process, you understand. Now go put it into application differently. Let me help you. Let me help to lead you in this direction so that you can go and have these different works. So you can have these different worlds. You can have this different, it's a different ride. Thank you, Spirit, for having me see that. It's different rides. It's like, okay, Spirit's helping me ride in different things now. In the runes, we call it Raido. Raido, Raido. It's the one that looks like an R. It's like you get up and you shift your position. You get up and you lift up. You get up and you go. You get up and you transition. It's like a physical movement of something. It's physical changes. If you're sitting still, sometimes the Raido can come through and it's like you ever been in the middle of a conversation and just like the energy changes and you're like, oh, it's a different conversation now? That's also an example of Raido. That's going to be more of like subliminal energy, or like it's not as direct, but usually Raido most of the time is going to pick up some sort of like physical energy. Something's picking up and moving on, moving about. Okay, you got energy that's and going on a ride. It is, I'm pretty sure, is an exact translation of ride or journey. Journey is the other word or another word that translation comes through as. So some rune wisdom for you. So Raido, it's like the positions. When spirit's given these positions to people, it's like things you've been prepared for. Because the North Node in Pisces is a lot. How do I say this? Over the previous, spirit's been telling me about initiations coming to a consecration for months now. People I've been working with before my sessions closed, like initiations are being consecrated now. It's like the previous probably like 5 or 6 months. It's been a lot of people who've been going through initiations being done, or people realizing they're on the journey of an initiation. So it's like the clarity and the awareness is different depending on who you are, what you're going through, etc. So discern for you. And also for myself, there's an initiation that has come to an end. Consecration, finish, finalized, done. So good. I haven't shown the internet this yet, but I think Amy's in the room. Amy, you're in the room, right? Amy's there. Hold on. I have something to show everybody. Oh my gosh. I haven't shown the internet this yet, but we're going to do it right now. This is so exciting. We're going to take a personal turn. We're going to come back and learn. Okay. So recently, we're going to take a personal turn. This is so good. Golly. Yeah. Okay. So yes, beautiful. So recently, the initiation that I came through to a close was my priestesshood. That's done. We're finished. Thank you, Spirit. So thank you, High Spirit. I'm so grateful for it. And it was immediate too. Spirit gave me the consecration of it, and immediately I could feel it. Immediately my head was different. So there's a lot of things that people have been going through, whether knowingly or unknowingly, because sometimes we walk through that kind of stuff and we don't really know about it until we get to the other side of it. But Spirit had me walking in it for a long time, and then finally it came to a close, finish. Okay, so hold on, because I got something to show you. And when I go through those sorts of consecrations, for me, it's always, how do I say this? I always have to have some kind of like finalization. I work a lot of tattoo magic. Okay, so look at this. I went and got a tattoo that says, I don't know if you can see it actually. It says Mother Priestess. That's what the Coven named me. And Spirit said, that's your responsibility now. That's what you're carrying. So, Mother Priestess. So, I just want to say thanks for that. I haven't shown you yet, or I haven't like brought it into the surface of what's going on. So, the positions, okay? Positions, positioning. That's what I mean. It's like real serious things. Yeah, the OMG, it's so good. Thank you for naming that of me. Thanks for the confirmations and the consecrations. I have not the words, I have not the words. And also, look at us go. Look at us go. I don't know how many of you in here are in the Coven space, but look at us go. That's what I really recently have been like, wow, whoa. Look at us go. Look at how really good we're doing. I had to remind myself of that today. Look at how great you're doing. Look at how really good we're doing, y'all. Look at how really great we're look at how great we're going and we're doing it. It's so good. Okay, so just a little, hype up for us because positions. So let's return to that for a second, or for a moment, for where it needs to be. Positions when spirit is asking you to go through. Let's talk about the process of initiation, because I know over the previous months I've talked to a lot of people who are not necessarily fully consecrated in initiation, but like the process is around starting grounding. When spirit asks you to get up and go do something, how you do it, where you do it, when you do it, is going to let spirit know what you're ready for the next sort of like position. So if you're given positions with the North Node in Pisces, we're given positions. Without the North Node in Pisces, let's talk about the negative of what we normally experience. Usually the North Node not in Pisces and being somewhere else, those positions can happen sort of like in a timely manner, or they can happen in like, because it's an elevation into a position. You got to raise your head up, you got to raise your skills up, you got to raise your gifts up, and that simultaneously means you got to ground stuff. You got to get it on the earth, you got to bring it to the ground, you got to be on the earth as a human, you got to be down here. So when that happens, normally we have like, it's like spread out in time, or it's like a, how do I say, it's not as maybe directly connected. But now that the North Node is in Pisces, the North Node part of it is that's really, really heightened in elevation. It's a year and a half about of like a smooth incline of elevation. We're going straight up pretty much. There's, it's not straight up here, but it's pretty straight up. So when it comes to spirit asking you to like change your positions or offering these different positions, it's like, okay, well, you're gonna be one here, and then you're gonna be one here, and then you're gonna be one here, and it's gonna be up here, and then it's gonna be up here. So every single time that there's a different position that's offered, is some form of elevation. Some form of elevation. And one of the things that spirit's been talking to me about recently when it comes to these different positions and like the work that people are doing, making sure that you can avoid, not, it's not avoid, what's the word? It's just making sure that there's no desecration. And that means to make something not sacred. To make something not sacred. There's a lot of ways to do that. And we're not going to get into specifics, because then I feel like we would be, it's like the dare course, or like the dare class, how they were like teaching a bunch of 12-year-olds they were like educating about substance abuse so that people didn't go do it, while simultaneously giving people the guidebook and like the handbook on like how to actually do that kind of stuff. So we're not going to talk about specifics, because there's a lot of different pathways, and if you start to get into it, it's pretty easy to do it. So we're not going to talk about it. And also making sure that you can keep things sacred for you. How do you need to keep things sacred for you? Keep that position of sacredness. Keep the positions that are important to you around you, because then if spirit's asking you to do something, calling you into something, bringing you into something, okay, if you can sit at that level, here's the elevation, we're going to do another one. Here's the elevation, we're going to do another one. And it's going to be swift. It's going to be something that's like, you're going to be asked to use your gift over and over and over and over and over and over, and lift your gift over and over and over and over and over for the next year and a half, 2 years. Crazy. Okay. Crazy. So when it comes to this position of the feminine and masculine, this is kind of the first one of the, no, this is the first. The North Node hasn't been in Pisces that long. This is one of the first kind of transitions of the position. We have the feminine being asked to sit and be creative and shine. Okay, sit and be creative and shine. Sit, be creative, shine. Shine your light, shed your light, bring light to the world. And then we have the masculine being elevated to a position, the spiritual practitioners of masculine spiritual practitioners. This is for people who keep a spiritual practice. Okay, let's be more specific. Thank you, Spirit, for the specificity. Let's be more specific. Feminine who has spiritual practice. Be the light, shine, shed the light, bring the light, bear the light, bring the life, create. Beautiful. It's also a lot, again, about the stillness and the feminine side of things. It's like stillness and then move when needed and necessary. Stillness, move when, okay. And then the masculine, again, spiritual practitioners of masculine. Because if we really look at the world and we're looking at what the masculine is doing right now, that's not necessarily exactly this message. So let's be more specific. It's the spiritual practitioners who are masculine spiritual practitioners. All right, moving in then. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. This masculine energy, it's like finally the masculine, it's like what I see is like just this higher perspective. It's just a higher perspective of being, instead of being at the same level. So this is what I really see. A masculine energy who's been around other people who don't necessarily keep a sacred practice in their life for a long time. Remember, the masculine was like really dense. There's like a density, keep bumping in and bumping in and bumping in and bumping in. Okay, so that masculine energy is finally like, it's almost like spirit finally is like, okay, you have the recognition now to come be up in this position and kind of see what the world looks like from this elevated viewpoint where the spirit is at, or where spirit's going to allow there to be perception or perceiving, because higher is a higher, elevated, higher rise. It's like a rised perspective, a rising perspective. Rising, that's an action. That's not just one. So, discernment. The masculine is going to be given a position up here now to see, oh, I understand. There's a lot of understanding that the masculine is going to receive from that. Oh, I understand. I understand why people move that way. I understand why I was removed from that position years ago. I understand why I had to go through those things. Like, the masculine is going to sit in a lot of understanding once that higher perspective is offered. There's a lot of understanding. I just see the masculine kind of like sitting up in the sky, looking down at the life that's been lived, or from this higher perspective, and just kind of like nodding their head and being like, having a conversation with spirit, being like, I understand. Thank you, spirit. I understand. And then spirit's eventually going to ask the masculine to get up and keep walking, but spirit's going to elevate that masculine to a position where they can sit. I understand, spirit. I understand, spirit. I'm grateful for you. Thank you, spirit. I understand. It's going to be unplanned. Not going to be planned. You can't see it because spirit Spirit told me recently, oh my goodness, guys. Oh my goodness. Let me receive some tea, and then let's talk about it. Oh my gosh. So good. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh, thank you. Love you. So good. So good. The higher and the elevated, honestly, though, you know? Mm-hmm. The letting go of also. Oh my goodness, the letting go of. I feel like spirit has been vibrating my body like a tuning fork recently to shake off stuff. It's been a crazy ride. I'm not going to get too into it, but it's been like several days of just like, get rid of that. You've been holding on to it for too long. Get rid of that. You've been holding on for, but it is like a vibrating fork. It's like somebody keeps like, I don't know how to explain it. It's like spirit keeps coming in and it will like vibrate a part of my body. And then it's like, okay, you gotta let go of all that now. It's been a lot. I understand that. At least I understand from what I just shared. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh, spirit's been telling me recently. So this is what I said, that we're gonna get into something maybe a little bit more personal. I don't know if people are gonna probably people will resonate with this, but it's not something that's in the cards necessarily that came out. Spirit's been telling me recently that sometimes things are supposed to be unpredictable. That message has been coming through for months now, so probably that's a little bit resonatory, at least. It is. Sometimes things are not supposed to be predictable. And I was thinking about it. I was thinking about this on a sense of relationships, okay? People that are in your life that you would consider really, really close friends, people that you would consider in your life partners, people that you would consider people who like, because I was going to say business too, but that doesn't necessarily, I'm not like bound up to anybody in business. It's just me. So if you have people though around you that you're like really closely like bound up with or close to, or, you're together with them, however that might work for you, then Spirit's been telling me recently, and this is going to be Pluto and Aquarius oriented, or it's like it comes from there, part of it. And also, sometimes things are supposed to be unpredictable, because if you can't predict what's going to happen in that relationship, nobody else is going to be able to predict it either. Don't you think that's kind of a protective thing? If it can't be predicted, something's being protected. I don't know what could be, I don't know how sometimes what's being protected may not necessarily be what you would agree with. Sometimes what's being protected may not necessarily be what you want. Sometimes it's gonna be, sometimes it's not gonna be. It just depends. That's a neutral tool. There's neutrality in it, okay? And also, not everything can be predicted. And if it can't be predicted, something's being protected. So if there's no prediction, ask the question, what are you protecting? What are you protecting? What are you protecting? If it can't be predicted, what are you protecting? If it can't be predicted, what are you protecting? Back and forth. That's a tool. Hopefully that's helpful for people. That's something that was offered to me literally right now and also recently. If it can't be predicted, what's being protected? If it's not about you, because I said, what are you protecting? If it's not about you and it's about other people and you can't predict what are they protecting? What's being protected there? Was being protected, because not everything can be predicted. And thank the gods for that, because you know what? If everything could be predicted, will we really have free will? I like my will free. Thank you very much. Let it be. Okay. What else? Ground of coin. Interesting. A ground of coin that you cannot see. A ground of coin. Sometimes just leave it be. Ground of coin. A moon cycle through. Ground of coin. Something to nurture you. Ground of coin. What else is through? Ground of coin. Some leadership too. It's like you picked up a new responsibility. So Spirit's like, hey, here's some money. Okay. You picked up a new responsibility. Hey, here's some money. It's going to nurture you. It's a cycle. Also, that's the full moon. Hello. Spirit's been telling me this full moon is about to be crazy. Because I was looking at the chart. I didn't get too into it. Okay. I didn't break down the planets that aren't really involved in it, but I did break down what's involved in it. And this full moon, it really is about to be crazy. We've got the moon itself is going to be in Leo. Leo is ruled by the sun. Okay. The sun's going to be in Aquarius. That's where the new moon was. So we have a full moon that not only is in the cycle of the new moon that's in Aquarius, we have a full moon that's ruled by the sign that the new moon was in. Interesting. We also have a full moon that is going to be, how do I explain this? Because it's the sun, and then the sun is with Pluto. So it's like shining the light on the bindings. Shining the light on the bindings from the new moon. Hello, Coven. What's up? What's up with you? What's up with you? Think about the work that we did do. Interesting. And think about what was coming through for you. Because I know for me, there's a lot that I didn't share on the internet that was coming through on a personal level. Because for me, when I was doing that work, I was closing my eyes. I was speaking, talking, and speaking. So it was very I was really surprised with that work. For people who don't know, I'm talking about there's a Coven space that we just got together. It's so good. It's linked in my bio, community organization, and what's the other side of that title? Community organization and Coven support. I'm pretty sure that's it's linked in the menu of both of the different websites that I run. But in the Coven support space, I was so surprised because I was talking to Spirit during that ritual for the new moon. I was talking to Spirit about making sure that everybody's covered. I was talking to Spirit about making sure that everybody's okay, that everybody's all right. I don't even really remember exactly what I said, but that was the general topic of things, was just make sure that everybody receives what they need. Make sure that everybody's good. Make sure that everybody's good. Make sure that they are taken care of. Okay. The people who are doing this work, the people who are really stepping up to the plate to make sure that this is done, make sure they're good. Make sure that everybody's good. Make sure that everybody's good. And then when the candle was burning, Spirit took me in a whole different direction, and I was like, whoa, this is not what I asked for, but it is what I asked for. Sometimes magic is unpredictable like that, where it's you do, at least for me, you do work, and the Spirit's like, okay, well, if you ask for that, this thing over here has got to happen. You ask for this, then we got to go focus on this thing that's over here. We got to go ground this over here. You've got work to do over here. You need this thing, and then we got to focus on what's going on over here. So Spirit was bringing through all these messages and the premonitions, responsibilities, directions, understandings, just getting me together. Get me together. Be precise, be specific, get me together from that work. And so I've been thinking about the full moon because we did that work on the new moon. And I've been thinking about the full moon. It's the full moon. And then it's also too, the other part of the full moon is that one of the rulers of Aquarius, which is what's ruling the full moon, okay, is Uranus. And Uranus is going to be squaring, it's in Taurus, and it's going to be squaring the moon and the sun. It's going to be squaring them both. So this full moon is grounding something that is not predictable. This full moon is grounding something that's not predictable, whether you did the Coven work with us on the new moon or not. This full moon is grounding something that's unpredictable. If you did the Coven work, it's going to be different because it's going to depend on what you asked for, and it's going to depend on what you were talking to Spirit about, and it's going to depend on when you're burning the candle down, because I know there's people in here who did that work. When you were burning the candle down and you were thinking about it and you were walking with it and you were doing your work over those 7 days or as the candle was burning, and you were just involved in the work, however you were involved in it and what Spirit was having you do, there's something being grounded from that on the full moon that we're not going to be able to predict. And because Saturn is in Pisces, it's something that's going to be helping us to transition. It's going to be something that helps us to transition. Don't get tricked. Don't get tricked. Pisces is the oldest and wisest trickster. Okay. So this is for people who are involved in the work on the new moon and people who are doing their own thing on the new moon. For everybody. This is for everybody. Okay, the people who are here and it resonates. Let me be more specific. People who are here and it resonates. The full moon is grounding something that we cannot predict. It's unpredictable. It's something off script, something that you wouldn't be able to be like, oh, that would be a response, or that would be, no, it's off script. It's something that is not planned. It's impromptu. No, it's out. It's not impromptu. I was going to say impromptu. It's not that. It's just not planned. It's not planned. It's off script. Something, it's like a toe is dipped. You know, when you if you're going to jump in the water, okay, what's the temperature? What's it feel like? What's the temperature? What's it feel like? It's off script. Something that is unpredictable is grounding. Something unpredictable is grounding. What's it really going to feel like? Also, for some people, for some people, that's going to be really ancestral, off script of the ancestors. Okay, elevate us then in love, please and thank you. If that's really what's going on, elevate us in love, elevate us in love, elevate us in free, elevate us in truth. If we don't need to be where the ancestors have been, elevate us again. Thank you. I love you. So good. Okay. And then the ride changes. We're going to have something unpredictable happen, something unpredictable occur. Let's look at that a little bit more. Let's look at that. Unpredictable. I know it's unpredictable, but we're going to look around it just to see kind of what we need to be doing or if there's any other information that can come through. Keep forging. I also heard forging a path. Keep forging. Forge the path. I also hear the word trailblazer. Okay. Someone who's forging a path, someone who's going forward. The world is grounding. No, more clarity, please. That's not the exact words. The world is no longer a fool, huh? No longer a fool. Not in the sense of, that makes me, you know what that sounds like? You know what that looks like? Where's my lighter? That's what that feels like. That's what that looks like. Interesting. That has not been emotion in my practice in a very long time. Okay, Spirit, what you really got going on with that? Interesting. It's like, I also feel like, pack it down. That's what that feels like also. Pack it down. Okay. You need me to keep doing it? Because my goodness. Pack it down. Oh my. Listen, I haven't picked up that habit in a long time. It's not a habit. Spirit's been talking to me about that recently, about how I might need to go and sit with a specific sort of spirit that would look and sound like a preparation of that recently. Interesting. We're not going to talk about that just because, it's the internet and there could be children in this room. Love you, kids. Thanks for being here. Oh my gosh. Am I the adult now? Is that what just happened? I'm the adult now, guys. Oh my gosh. We're the adults now? I'm the adult now. Okay, I'll be the adult. You need me to be you need me to be the you okay, I'll be here. That's great. Let me sit in it, revere it, I guess. Oh my gosh. Not I guess. Let me be serious about it. All right. No longer a fool. It's like reality. That's what I see. It's like keep forging, keep forging, keep forging, keep forging. It's what it's what's the word or a word or a way to explain this? Hmm. The for people who've been following their intuition for a long time, you ever golly, having faith in spirit and just having no idea what's gonna come of it or where you're going or how you're getting there or oh goodness. Yeah, you ever been on the path and you're like, listen, I don't know why. I don't know why. That's the North Node looking high up in the sky saying, I don't know why. I just know I need to go. I don't know why. I just know I need to sow. I don't know why. I just know I need to flow. I don't know why. I just know I need to go. Okay. That's the North Node. That's a lot about the North Node. So people who have been, I don't know, I just know I need to do it. I don't know why spirit has me doing this. That's how I would talk about it. I don't know why spirit has me doing this. I don't know why spirit has me on this path. I don't know why people for me sometimes because people see me in the positions I'm in occasionally, well not occasionally, but whenever I'm on the internet and sometimes in public too, but that's a different story, time, space, place, and also for now. That's true for now. And also, because, union coming together, I suppose, valid. Thanks, Spirit, for that. Interesting. A word salad. Continuing on. Having a having that path that a lot of people I find who come to spiritual spaces are following some kind of North Node energy. Because the North Node, it does ask us to get a little bit uncomfortable and to do new things. And it's a lot easier to do that if you're on a path of spirit. It's, at least in my opinion, it's a lot easier to do that if you're like, okay, listen, I have faith in you, spirit. I have faith in you. I don't know what, or relationships with the gods also. That's applicable for this. It's like I may not understand. There's spirits that are much older, much wiser, much longer and stronger than how I exist as just an individual human spirit. They're much older. The primordial spirits. Hello, I love you, thank you. The mothers, the great mother, the great father, they're older. They're older, they're wiser, they're longer, they're stronger. So I don't really know. I know a lot of stuff for who I am, for how long I've lived, but I don't really know because you think about how long I've been here in comparison to where we've been, and I haven't been here that long. So, uh, go, golly, that's true. Goodness, goodness, golly. So for people who've been walking that path and not really understanding. Just like I know I need to walk this path. I don't know why you need me walking this path. Listen, I'll do this. I promise I'll do this. I'll take these oaths. I'll do what you need me to do, spirit. If there's any sort of that kind of energy around you, or has been in the previous many years, if you made promises to spirit, if you've asked spirit for different things, if you've been walking the path of spirit, you've been doing the spirit things. You got your wings. You got spirit rings. What's going on with you and spirit? Okay, discernment for yourself. If you've been doing that though, there's something grounded for you. That's something unpredictable grounding on the new moon or on the full moon. Pardon me. On the full moon, something unpredictable grounding on the full moon is something about the path that the trailblazer energy of like doing things differently, stepping out of your comfort zone, being around people, having to leave people. Like there's a lot of different work, depends on who you are and where you come from and what you've asked spirit for and what spirit's asked of you. So there, unpredictable, something you would not be able to predict, something off script, something different, something in script, like it's already been written. Oh, interesting. Magic does work in mysterious ways. So something that's already been written. It's like something that you already like maybe asked for. Something in script. It's off script, but it's in script. It's like somebody already wrote it down or somebody already like talked about it. Something you already wanted, already did, already ordered, already set up for yourself. But like sometimes we gotta be blind because how do I say this? Because we have to. Sometimes we just have to be blind because we just have to be blind. Like say that this is something really good, okay? We're gonna speculate. to relate for a second. Okay, even though it can't be predicted, what if it's something really good? Okay, what if it's something great and spirit's bringing it through for you? And if spirit told you what it is, would you be able to handle the news of something really good coming to you? I'm going to tell you a story. I remember one of the more difficult parts of my career doing this kind of stuff was at the end of 2021. Okay. End of 2021, I was going through just a hard time. I talk about it on the blog sometimes. It's a little bit less censored over there. But for now, just because we're in a different sort of guideline space, we'll leave it be. It was hard. Okay. It was very difficult. And it is as it needed to be, though, is also the part of it that's very clear to me. It just needed to be that. And again, leave it at that. So I was going through a difficult time. I was also realizing just some things that needed to change around the way that I was receiving money and like business, but also at the same time, nothing was really working out for me, which is different than the kind of magic I normally practice. Normally I'm practicing magic. Things are working out for me pretty immediately. It's like, okay, well, you go do that. And then there's going to be, that's just how my magic works. Thank goodness. I'm very grateful for that. But there are some things not working out for me because I needed to learn a lesson. There was many lessons I needed to learn. There was also a lot of protection I needed to learn about. So it's a whole chapter of my life. We're not going to get too far into it. It was a really dark moment for me. And it was the first time I sold an NFT, and it came in unpredictable. They sent me a message about it because I was selling paintings at the time too. They had purchased the physical painting. And then they had sent me a message and they were like, I want to buy the NFT. They were involved in Web3 stuff. And it was the height of like the Ethereum thing back in 2021. I've been in crypto spaces for like many, many years of my adult life, but it's more popular or like mainstream now to do it. So anyways, they sent me a message and they were talking about the bid because they were on bid and they were like, I want to give, they didn't say respectable amount, but basically like, I want to be able to support you in this. What are you expecting? And I was like, well, I don't really know, to be honest. I don't know what other people would value my work at. I was thinking a number in my head and they ended up sending like multiplications of what that was. And so, but I couldn't have predicted that. I couldn't have predicted them reaching out to me. I couldn't have predicted any of it. There's literally no way. And when the bid came through and everything was like, even before it was said and done, it was like, but when it was an assured thing, I just wept. I just sat there and I cried and I cried. Had Spirit told me about that before it happened, I would have been freaking out. I would have been doing extra stuff. No, I wouldn't have handled it the way that I would have needed to. So Spirit just didn't tell me. Because Spirit doesn't need us to know. Okay. So if there's unpredictable stuff going on, really think about it. Good, bad, neutral. If you don't know, like it's unpredictable. So if you are not going to be able to handle it until it's revealed to you, sometimes it needs to be concealed until it's revealed. Sometimes it's like, when a mom keeps they're not going to say anything. They're not going to say anything. Let the kid learn. The kid doesn't need to know about it yet. What was I just talking about earlier with the pack? Sometimes we just don't need to talk about it. Sometimes we just don't need to talk about it. Ridiculous. And also I'm grateful for that example. They're both very true. So it's like that unpredictable thing that's grounding. It's something that you've been working on for a long time. It's like finally what I hear about it too is like blind faith is being rewarded. Blind faith is being rewarded. People who've been walking through blind faith or situations where you've been blinded or had to be blind for years now and putting faith in spirit, putting trust in spirit, putting trust in yourself, doing the work, even if you didn't really understand what you were doing. Okay, well, here you go. Okay, well, here you go. I don't know what here you go is because it can be different for every person. But if you've been doing that, that's the path work. Okay, well, here you go. Wow. Spirit never tells me, and I don't want to know until I need to know. Listen, that's why I say I have enough responsibility. Keep me blind if I don't need to see it. Love you, thank you. But if I need to know, please let me know. There's a line there, you know. If I need to know, please let me know. I would love to know. I would love to sit and understand. And also, if I don't need to know, I don't need to know. So, yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Struck big selling my art. Good for you. You know what? Good for you. It was a good time. That was an interesting time, that's for sure. Shout out to the Ethereum. Shout out to Ethereum. So it's supposed to be unpredictable. Let it be unpredictable then. Let it be off script. You know? Oh my gosh, we've been on for an hour. I didn't even realize. That's crazy. Well, I've been on for an hour. Oh my goodness. I think I'm gonna light another incense. Hold on. Let's light another one. Let's light another one. I went and stocked up on my incense today. And I'm so grateful to have the ability to go and do that. Ooh, so good. All right. Allow me just a moment. Ooh. And also, let me prove to TikTok that I am, in fact, a human being. There we go. Thanks, TikTok. Oh, let me get it more specific. Cool. Yeah, cool. Okay. Well. Great live making time fly. Sometimes necessary, sometimes needed, you know? Also, thanks, Hannah. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. All right. Now that we've got that, I want to use a different deck of cards. We're in a different ride now. Hold on. Yeah, I'm going to pick this all the way up, actually. Let me get this deck packed up. Yeah, we can use that deck. That's interesting. Let's use that one. This deck is one of my favorite decks. It's the deck that I've been reading with since I started this. Like before I had internet stuff going on with this sort of thing directly. That's crazy. This deck is so special to me. Okay. This deck is very new and it's also very interesting. On the inside it says find your magic. Find it, okay? So look for it, and then the bottom of it, when you take everything out, it says use your magic. So it's like helping you figure out how to activate the magic. What is it that you need to practice? How you need to practice? So let's look at some activations. That's why I want to sit with this. I want to sit with this. Spirit show me up here. We got to sit with this. So let's sit with it. Let's see what else we need to see. You know. Also, there we go. Okay. It's like you're speaking to my 10th house Pisces directly. Understood, actually. Understood. Understood. What else do we need to know about magic? Magic, letting go. Ascension, forgiveness, healing, nature. Forgiveness, dude, this card of forgiveness, I was gonna say it trips me up. That's not the right words. It's pretty, it's kind of there's a probably something that would get me flagged in the picture. So I'm not gonna show you the picture. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna do that. And also, I'll explain it to you. It's somebody holding their heart in their hands, and then from the heart, there's like a kind of like a smoke cloud that comes out, and it's somebody pointing an assault back at that person who's holding their heart in their hands. So it's like the heart is how I interpret it. It's like the heart is the thing that's holding it against themselves. Like they're holding it against themselves. This hard thing, holding it against themselves. So there's some healing work. Also, yeah, interesting. Healing work. Thank you, Spirit. Healing work. Nature. Ascension. Prevention. There's ascension for prevention. Remember earlier I was talking about the different layer and the masculine getting kind of elevated up and out of that, getting a different perspective? There's ascension for prevention. Oh, thank you, Spirit. I got that on a personal level. Okay. Ascension for prevention. Okay. And also, there's a story I need to share on the internet one day, but it's not right now. That's what that one is. There's a story I need to share on the internet, but it's not right now. Uh, Ascension for prevention. It's like, think about all the kind of like schemy stuff going on. If you're able to be at a different sort of like elevated level, it could be an ascension of the mind. Maybe you're thinking about things differently. Okay. Could be an ascension of the heart. Maybe you're feeling through things differently. Maybe you have different tools. Maybe as everything in your life is going through this sort of elevating process, ascension. There's some kind of like upward motion. It's for prevention. There's a preventatory to prevent something happening, to prevent yourself getting into trouble, to prevent prevention. There's prevention. And when that happens, there's something that's going to end. It's like an ending coming through. Prevention. So allow there to be prevention. Thank you, Spirit. That's true. Allow there to be prevention. There's also forgiveness. This is forgiveness of self, but it's also forgiveness of those who have come against us. Personally, I don't really work with forgiveness a lot. I do sometimes. How do I explain this? Some people don't need to be forgiven. Some people need to change. Some people don't need to be forgiven. I have a very specific kind of relationship with forgiveness, because if you look at how do I explain this? Please allow me to explain this in love, truth, free, honor, glory, elevation, gratitude, reverence, love, and justice. If somebody is coming through and hurting another person, okay, and that person, we're gonna call person A and person B. If person A is coming through to hurt person B, okay, if person B didn't do anything wrong, and person A is just coming through to hurt person B for no good reason, just because they want to, okay, maybe they've been through their own trauma, maybe they've been, whatever the situation or case might be, okay, they decided they're gonna be cruel though. They're gonna be cruel to person B. Now person B is wondering, what did I do? Why am I going through this? How am I going to get out of it? Okay, there's like this kind of like cause of chaos and uplift and like stress, right? For person B. When person B was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Person B didn't do anything wrong. Person A was the one who was doing something wrong, was wrongdoing, okay? Now let's say that person B gets out of that situation, goes about their way, goes and lives their life, okay? Person B, if they have not done anything wrong, there is not anything necessary to go back and forgive. I just need to forget about it and go and live. If I can let it go, I'm going to do that, because I'm not going to go and I'm not going to forgive the people who have hurt me if they haven't forgiven themselves. Sometimes though, if we're in a cycle where maybe like, if it's a cycle, there's a difference. If it's a cycle, because there's a difference. There's a difference. There's a difference. Because that's just a one-off situation. But if there's a cycle, there's a difference. So if there's a cycle, sometimes we got to learn to forgive another person who's hurt us, because we may have hurt another person. Maybe we did so knowingly. Maybe we did so accidentally. Maybe we did so and didn't even realize it. Maybe we didn't even realize we were, exchanges can become very strange very quickly. Okay. So in some situations, in some cases, sometimes we got to learn to forgive other people because we got to learn to forgive ourselves. That's a part of it. Maybe you got to learn to forgive where you come from. So you got to learn to forgive other people. And also, if I haven't done anything wrong, if there hasn't been any wrongdoings ancestrally, which is going to be different depending on the person that you're talking to, where they come from, and what their experience is, discernment, then I'm not going to sit on a personal level. I'm not going to sit in forgiveness if I don't need to, because if I'm sitting in forgiveness and I don't need to, then I'm still attached to the cycle where I'm being, how do I explain this? I'm still attached to the cycle then. I'm still attached to the cycle. I had to let go a while ago of trying to forgive the people who hurt me. I had to let go of it. I had to let go. I had to stop trying to forgive them. I had to stop. I've been through enough. I don't need to keep reliving it. I don't need to keep bringing it up. I don't need to keep finding reasons to forgive them. Listen, I'm done with forgiveness. You did what you did. You meant it also, whoever that person was at the time. There's a couple people I've been able to forgive. That's the thing about me and forgiveness. If they can go through, the person who would have hurt me in these previous situations, if they can go through and they can forgive themselves, if they can do the work to alter themselves and to change, okay, yeah, I can forgive you. Okay, yeah, I can forgive you then. But if the person's not willing to change, they're not willing to do anything differently, and they have made the active decision to just become complacent with who they are, then they don't need forgiveness. They don't need forgiveness. They need an intervention from God or something else. I don't know, but it's not me and it's not my forgiveness. They need something else. So I'm not going to waste my magic and my energy on that. No, I'm not going to waste my. So I had to stop. I had to put it down. That was a whole. Maybe I just need to go on the rant about forgiveness. That card coming up. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to forgive people if they haven't earned it. Forgiveness is earned. Ooh, interesting. Something just turned. That's what I felt about that. Forgiveness is earned. Forgiveness is earned. Forgiveness is not something. Forgiveness is earned. Why are you bringing this up, Spirit? Because I can feel my like ready to go. That's how I feel right now. So why are you bringing this up, Spirit? Healing, okay, healing. With healing, there's revealing. I also see healing hands, healing hands, healing hands, healing understands. The spirit of healing is an understanding spirit. That is true. The spirit of healing is an understanding spirit. The spirit of healing is an understanding spirit. Stop trying to forgive, go and heal. Stop trying to forgive, go and heal. Forgiveness has to be earned, right? So even if you're the one who's done something wrong to yourself, stop trying to forgive yourself. Go do something differently. Go do something differently. Go do something different. Go do something different. Go do something different. I don't normally go into the um how do I say? Do I need to talk about that actually? Let me figure that out for a second. Let me sit with my own discernment as I say in my videos. Do I need to talk about that? Uh, just keep going forward. Sometimes we don't need to. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, High Spirit. Thank you. Sometimes we don't need to look back. Sometimes looking back is a trap. Sometimes we look back and things we look back and we get stuck in it again. Sometimes we got to keep moving forward. Sometimes we got to move on. And to be able to move on, we got to stop looking at where we've been. We can't look at where we've been. So if you go and you heal, do something different, reveal how you feel, understand how you feel, instead of trying to like force this forgiveness. And nature's bringing offerings to you. Love you, nature. Nature really did come through for me recently, too. That's true. That's true. You know, that's true. Interesting. Nature's bringing offerings to you. Nature's bringing offerings to you. Hold on. Let me sit. Let me sit about it. Let me sit about it. Yeah, I love nature too. Really, though. Mm-hmm. Nature's bringing offerings to you. Hmm. If we're talking about what I was just talking about with the unpredictable grounding, this is probably going to be the final thing I say. There may be another thing actually. The unpredictable grounding of the full moon. Okay, that was just a little bit ago that we were talking about. Uranus is the primordial beings. It's like a representation of the nature astrologically. Nature, what birthed time, what birthed order, what birthed structure. The primordial beings, the primordial mothers, the primordial fathers, the primordial has birthed offerings for you specifically. The girl's face in this picture also is really like it's like she looks like she's crying. There's no tears, but she looks like she's crying. She's kind of like in awe of like this is for me. That's what it feels like. And it's coming from a tree. It's a woman that's a tree. Let me show you. You can see it's a tree. A whole tree. A whole entire tree. Bringing through it's a vase and some sort of it looks like an apple. An apple. Nature bringing through. Oh, interesting. Nature bringing through something for you. More than one. More than two. She's got two things in her hands, but it feels like more than that. More than two. You focus on you. That's what I feel like is like you focus on you and spirit will come through. That's what this feels like. That's what this looks like. You focus on you and spirit will come through. You focus on you, spirit will come through. You focus on you, spirit will come through. You focus on you. That's the cycle. Recycle it. Recycle it. Because if you think about that, if you're taking care of yourself, of course, spirit's going to come through and take care of you, especially if you've been through several hard years. Especially if you've been through several hard years. If you've been through several hard years and you're now in a position where you're taking care of yourself, maybe you're still in the hardness, maybe you're still in the hard work, maybe you're still in the wreaking of it, okay? The wreaking of havoc, okay? Or the wreaking of stench, okay? Whatever, wherever you are, even if it's not where you want to be yet, if it still reeks, a little stinky, even if you're still in the middle of that, like if you're taking care of yourself, of course, spirit's going to come through and take care of you. Of course, spirit's going to come through and take care of you. There's only I was talking about like one of the harder times in my life earlier and one of the darker points in my life, one of the darker times in my life. There was a lesson in there for me. How do I explain this? There was a lesson in there for me that I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't doing what I needed to do. So spirit wasn't taking care of me either. That's part of the reason it was so hard. I wasn't taking care of me. It was hard for me to take care of me at that time. It was supposed to be hard for me to take care of me at that time. And I don't want to disregard that or, or cover that because that's just what it needed to be. It was hard for me to take care of me. Sometimes it's hard to take care of yourself. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's really difficult to get up and to love yourself every day. Sometimes it's hard to get up and say, you know what, you're worth it. Sometimes it's hard to do that. Sometimes it's hard to, it is. The world is a hard place. The world can be cruel. The world plays a fool, okay? Sometimes it's hard. Yeah, it really does. Sometimes it's hard to get up every day and say, yeah, you know what? I am worth it. Yeah, you know what? I do love myself. Yeah, you know what? I will go clean the kitchen because it's what I need to do for myself today. Yeah, you know what? I am going to take that extra walk. You know what? I am going to journal. You know what? I am going to meditate. Sometimes if you're going through a hard enough situation, getting out of bed is one of the hardest things you're going to do every single day. So going through that kind of thing and you got to learn how to take care of yourself again. Thank you, spirit. You got to learn how to take care. That means also spirit's learning how to take care of you again. So if you're really taking care of yourself, if you're taking the time, sometimes it's hard work. And that's the difference between Saturn and Venus in our chart. In our astrology chart is like Venus cares. Venus cares a lot. Venus cares a lot. Venus is like, listen, you are worth it and you're worth more. And every single time you're worth more. Okay. So just, play your cards because you're worth more. That's Venus energy, Venusian energy. But Saturn is like, whether you're worth it or not, you got to earn it. Whether you're worth it or not, you got to earn it because one of the law structures is that naturally you are worth it no matter what you think or feel about it. So that's Saturn's viewpoint on it. So then you put them together, and this is for the full moon April 13th, April 12th, April 13th. Venus is going to go direct out of its retrograde and it's going to be conjunct with the North Node and it's going to be conjunct with Saturn. Okay. I just put out another podcast episode today about Venus retrograde. So if you're interested in the whole thing, I'm not going to get into it in this space here, but it's up on the website. So, if you are looking for another resource. And also that full moon, April 13th, Venus is going to go direct. And then it's going to be, we don't need to further inspect. You've earned it and you're worth it. You've earned it and you're worth it, and it's going to be an elevating position. So if you're taking care of yourself, even if it's the small things, even if you just are like, listen, I got to sit and talk to myself. I got to sit and tell myself I love myself. Yeah, sometimes those things are important. That's important foundations. Those are important fundamentals. Those are important fundamentals. Okay. You got to tell yourself you love yourself. You're like a plant. You're like a tree. Okay. You got to put water at the roots. You got to put water at the roots. You're like a plant. You're like a tree. You got to put water at the roots. But guess what? You put water at the roots, there's fruits. That's what happens when you feed yourself like a plant. That's what happens when you feed yourself like a tree. That's what happens when you feed nature, okay? And it's your responsibility to make sure that you're taken care of. Everybody's got different people around them. And also too, if you're not fully abled and you got people helping you take care of you, then also it's their responsibility because what's up is what's up. That's what it is. And love yourself. Love yourself and love yourself in the middle of it. That's really what's going on. So you take care of yourself, spirit's going to take care of you too. You take care of yourself, spirit's going to look at the world right now. Why would spirit give you any reason to think that you're not going to be taken care of if you're taking care of yourself? My goodness, by golly. It doesn't always have to be jolly to take care of yourself. Sometimes, you know what? Sometimes I love doing the dishes. It's such a simple human task, I feel like. Sometimes I love doing the dishes. Sometimes I wish I could be doing anything else. Maybe not anything, but sometimes I don't want to do them. But I know the times that I don't want to do them are the times I need to go do them because you know what happens when I do my dishes? I process my emotions. I'm sitting with the water. I'm a witch. Hello. And it's like I ate the food from the dishes also. So it's like I'm processing my emotions. I'm processing what's going on in my head. I'm clearing things out. I'm clearing out, the dirt from the day prior. I'm clearing things out. I'm clearing it out. I'm understanding my emotions. I'm clearing things out. I'm understanding. There's sometimes I go to do the dishes and I'm listening to heavy metal music and I'm crying over what I'm cleaning. Like sometimes it's not easy. And that's just a part of being a human. And probably if you don't want to show up, it's really important that you do. So continue to show up for yourself. Oh my God. I literally did do that the other night. I was in a stinky mood. I was in a stinky mood and I was cleaning. I was really frustrated. I've been trying to get the house clean. I'm going to put the cards up. I've been trying to get the house clean for like days. It was like several days. I was thinking about it in my head and I was like, I have to get the house clean. Like I can't let the house. I got injured several weeks ago and I have like a routine where I clean on the weekends. And because I got injured, my routine got thrown off and then everything got pushed back and it was just bothering me and it was bothering me. And I was like, I can't start anything until I get this done. Like I got to get the house clean. I got to get it 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 clean. And it was so frustrating because it was like I was doing everything I could do and I just would go and when I clean stuff, I process a lot of energy. Hello, I'm a witch. So of course, so I was cleaning and I was picking things up and I rearranged too. I don't know if you can tell, but I rearranged what's going on back here. Got everything moved over. I got my bookshelves reset up. It feels pretty good. I like the new flow of energy in here. Hi to you too. And also I was picking up the energy. And the spirit would have me go sleep. Spirit was like, you got to go rest again. So then I go, okay. I just want it done though. So it was literally like 3 intense sessions of cleaning before I got everything done that I needed to do. And when I got to my dishes, I was really frustrated. I was like, I gotta sit and listen to heavy metal music and like my punk scene music and just do the dishes. So I did. And you know what? Sometimes you gotta do the work that you don't want to do to take care of you. But if you don't want to do it and you do it, that means that's an order creation. If you do the work that you don't want to do to take care of yourself and to love yourself, Spirit's going to do the work that nobody else wants to do to take care of you too. Thank you, Spirit. I love you. That's really true. That's really true. At least that's how it is for me. If I'm doing the work I don't want to do to make sure that I'm taken care of, Spirit's going to do the work that maybe Spirit doesn't want to do to make sure I'm taken care of too. Sometimes we got to do things we don't want to do to make sure that we're good, to make sure that we love ourselves. Love is not always, how do I say that? Love is not always kind. Isn't that a crazy concept? That's a crazy concept to me. Love is not always kind. Love is not always kind. Love sometimes will ward you blind. Love sometimes is gonna make you walk and be blind. Oh, okay. Don't talk about it. Don't tell anybody about it. You're not gonna be able to see anything. Sometimes love wards you blind. Sometimes love is gonna come up and smack you from behind. Go correct yourself. Love is not always kind. Love is not always kind. Love is love. Love is what love is. Love is love. Love is not always kind. Love is healing and it's caring and it's understanding and it's caressing and it's corrective. It's directive. It's protective. But to be directive and corrective and protective, love can't always be kind. Love can't always be kind. Love sometimes is a little bit, how do I say that? How do I explain that, Spirit? I'm gonna just let it sit because you know what? I feel like I'm gonna talk in circles about it. So sometimes don't always be kind. Maybe I needed to hear that for myself too. If that's true. Oh my goodness. Wow. I'm gonna call the reading through, but wait, we still got this incense burning, so I'm gonna sit and talk. I'm gonna sit and talk. That was crazy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So good. Oh, Oh, I'm grateful for you, Aaron. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Long-time viewer. What'd you say? Long-time viewer. First time live chat. Oh, so good. Thanks for being here. What's with your brew? My brew recently is so different. It's so different. Spirit recently had me deconstruct my altar. Okay. So that's done. Crazy. Crazy. That crazy. That's done. That's done. That's done. It's done. It's done, you know? It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. So that's been a part of my brew. Deconstructing the altar, reconstructing some order around me, reconstructing. That's why I went through and kind of reordered and restructured what's going on back here. It's because I had deconstructed my altar space, deconstructed I just didn't need it to be so like in your face altar space and place. So I still have a practice. It's just more like integrated into my life already rather than being like at an altar place and space. Thanks, North Node in Pisces and South Node in Virgo. I suppose that's true. So that's been an interesting thing. Spirits got me back out in nature more these days, also. And oh my gosh, you want to hear a story? You want to hear a story? Crazy, crazy. Oh, let me get my tea because this is kind of tea time. So, years and years and years and years and years ago, the first calling that spirit ever put on me, first calling that spirit ever put on me, when was it? 2017? What year is it now? 2025? Yeah, okay, that makes sense. It was like the beginning of my initiation. That's really true, actually. Thanks for that clarity. I guess I didn't realize that till now. Whoa, that's crazy. Cool. That's really weird. That's really weird. That's like really, 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 really weird. Okay, interesting. So I am now and was then, but in the middle was in different places. But again, am now and was then down by the Gulf of Mexico. And when I first moved down here years ago, 2017, I was not familiar with the area. I'm not from around here. And their spirit had me getting really, really sober. That was like preparation for me to even receive the calling to be initiated, how I have been initiated. I was getting really sober. I had been sobering up for probably like a year, a little less than a year, it was like around a little over a year. Over a year? Spirit wants me to say over a year. Maybe I'll need to sit with that and be clear about that with myself, but it was like a little over a year. I guess that's true. Interesting. No, that's true actually. It was. Oh, thank you, Spirit. Okay, so like a little over a year. I've been getting sober. I've been practicing. At the time, I was like a really, really dedicated yoga practitioner, and I was like all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. When I say all the time, I mean literally like every single day, sometimes multiple times a day. Many times, multiple times a day. Yeah, it was all the time. I was practicing all the time. I was also in the middle of getting a business set up, and I had just moved jobs, like working in the bar industry, so I could have time and money as a resource to like keep working on my business stuff, which was more based in painting at the time, but that's another story for another time. Anyways, so I'd been getting really sober. There was a bunch of change going on. I just moved down near the Gulf of Mexico and there was a hurricane that was coming up. And because I've been getting sober, my gifts were opening up. I was becoming more clear aware in my different gifts. There's a bunch of stuff that spirit had me working in, reading about, meditate. I was meditating all the time. I was meditating probably like for an hour and a half a day at one point, for like many months. It felt like for many months that was kind of my thing. Actually, interesting. For many months, I was meditating for at least an hour a day, or at least 20 minutes. That was like if I was really busy, it was at least 20 minutes. But if I could get an hour in, I was doing an hour, if not more than that. So I was like really, really dedicated to that practice for a while. Crazy to think about. So there's like a lot of preparation work that went into me even receiving the calling to go through and be initiated. Because how do I explain this? I went and had my first ever Reiki session done. And I was really particular even then, I am still now, but even then I was really particular about who I let into my practice and who I let into my, like, energy. I just know, I know what I got going on, and I don't always like people in my bubble, but we're here on the earth with other people, so it's necessary. But I was like, I feel like I have to, it's for me as I only do it when it's necessary. So that's also true. And that also makes it more impactful. I suppose that's also true. Interesting. More impactful, more powerful, more power pack behind it. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Spirit, for that. That's a great order gift. That's true. Anyways, so I'm getting really sober. I just gotten down into the Gulf, near the Gulf. Okay. And I was like, I need to go get a Reiki session done. I had done 30 days, like right before this, I had done 30 days, no caffeine, no sugar, no, nothing really. I was eating plants and the only sugar I had was kombucha. It was plants, oil, salt, pepper, kombucha, and water. That was like it. I didn't really do any extra herbs, nothing. And I was thinking about it earlier today because I was cooking earlier today and I was like, man, I really love herbs. And I was thinking about that part of my life and how there wasn't any, it just wasn't in anyways. So 30 days of that and like getting my system really clean. And then towards the end of it, I was like, I need to go and get an energetic clearing. Like I've done all this work to clear my body, but I don't know, like I need an energetic clearing. I need that to happen. I need that to be a part of this. So I went and got a Reiki session done, and I remember when she started, she was an older woman. She was probably like in her 40s or her 50s. I say older because at the time I was like 20. Okay, so for me that was like many, many years ahead of me at the time. Now I would just call that a lady. Like there is a lady, a woman. It is what it is. Perspective of younger me thinking it was an older woman. All right, so I remember when she started, it was in her home and it was right near one of my favorite parks that's like in the area of where I am and where I was back then too. I remember when she started, she put her hands on my head up here, put her hands on my head. And I remember this like, it was a circle and then it had is it the pentagram? I'm pretty sure that that's the word for it. It was like I saw that come over because again, I have the gift of sight, so I could see everything that she was doing in the spirit, even if maybe she didn't know how to explain it. Because I told her about it afterwards. This was the first time I realized I might be a little different. I told her about it afterwards. I told her about what I was seeing during the session because I was having all these visions of like different experiences while she was doing this session on me. I was having these different visions of like my family and these other things I was working through. And like it was just this big vision thing that was happening. A lot of my gifts are very vision based, or vision is like a really big gift of mine. Really, it's a really big skill that I work in. And it's a gift. That's true. So I told her about it afterwards, and she was like, I haven't ever had, it was like the most genuine, honest, mysterious, questioning sort of tone. She was like, I haven't had anyone ever say anything like that to me before. It was just, she was just kind of like dumbfounded a little bit because I was telling her about the visions and how I saw the pentagram come over at the beginning. Cause she told me before she started, she's like, I'm going to do a protective kind of like before we get started, there's a protection thing that I do. And then I'm going to go into the session. And interesting. So afterwards, I was so clear. Like I felt like an open channel and I knew that I wasn't done being in the energy work. So I went to the park that was like in the same neighborhood or like right across the street because I was nearby and I loved going there. I went there pretty frequently. So there was this specific part of the land that I would go and sit at occasionally because it was one again was doing a bunch of like stretching and things at the time. So it was one of the only like flatter places. There's water over there, so a lot of the land would go down towards the water. So this is one of the flatter places. So I went and I sat, and I was in like a full lotus position. Again, was really in it at the time. Not that I'm not now. It's a little bit different though. Anyways, I was sitting there. I closed my eyes. I was meditating, and the first vision I got was something I'm not going to share yet. I'm sure probably one day I'll have something to say about it, but for now, I'm going to let it rest in the privacy that I need for me. That's true. It has yet to see, and it is. Okay, so the second vision I got, though, I closed my eyes again because I had the first one. I would kind of like, it was like a strong vision, jolted me kind of back out, back up. Then I had a second vision. I saw there was a hurricane that was coming through, and I kept seeing again, I'm near the Gulf, and I kept seeing the news was forecasting it to go up the East Coast. I'm not from here. I'm not familiar with hurricanes. Well, at least I wasn't back then. And so silly. So young me, spirit showed me. I didn't have the words to explain that that's what it was at the time. It was just this vision of the hurricane coming into the Gulf and basically like coming right up to where I was. And I was like, okay. I tried to move it over, like back. I was like, no, they've said on the news it's going to go in this direction. And then it was like, when you put two magnets together and they like repel, it was like that. And the hurricane came back over into where I was again. And I was like, oh no, if that's really what's going to happen, I'd only been here for a month. I was like, I'm getting out of town. I'm leaving. I'm like, I just moved my whole life here and I'm not about to get flooded out. So I'll catch you when this is done. So I went out to another place, traveled across the land pretty far, to be honest with you, at the time in my car, camped for 4 nights and 3 days. No, 4 days and 3 nights. Let me reverse it. 4 days and 3 nights. And while I was there, there was these ravens. It was like it was the southern tip of the Rockies, but also kind of like near the desert, like a combination sort of place of the both of them. I don't honestly remember exactly where it was. I know the name of it, but I'm not going to tell you the name of the campsite because that's for maybe a book one day. Honestly, that's it. I'm not gonna. It's like when you see those people who live in camper that they're like full-time van lifers, and they're like, we don't share the locations of anything because we don't want it to get ruined for us. That's how I feel about that campsite. So I'm not going to tell you where it was, but maybe eventually I'll tell you about it because the name is like a really important part of like what I was going through. So anyways, on the way to the campsite, I had a piece of moldavite actually that fell off, or like it didn't fall off. I just felt like I needed to give it to somebody. It was one of the clerk cashiers at a gas station. I went out to the car and there was a raven that landed right on top of the car as I was thinking about giving this other person my moldavite, and I was like, I have to get it for him and bring it back inside of the store. And then the raven like flew off and I was like, okay, so I'm going to go and do that. It's crazy. Oh my goodness. I'm so grateful for the spirits. Oh, I'm so grateful for the spirits. I'm so grateful for the birds. So anyways, I get out to this campsite and remember, I've been getting sober. I've been getting really, 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 really sober for like many months. I get to this campsite and there's ravens that are like basically as big as me. They're huge. They're gigantic. And I'm a pretty decently sized person. I'm like 5'10", 5'11". So these big ravens, they weren't like as tall as me, but they're pretty big. And they're following me around. There's a whole bunch of other people there. Why me? Well, obviously, but also like that's what I was thinking at the time. I was like, clearly it's like they're here for a purpose. Why are they here? Why are they following me? So they were following me. And so that's when I knew I was like, something's gonna happen because big ravens like that just following me around. What's about to happen? I don't know, but something I could feel it. It was like static electricity in the air. I was like, I could feel something's about to happen. I don't know what it is, but here we go. So the first day, I was just kind of sitting and thinking about things. I think I read a book. The second day, nothing really happened. It was just a thing. Like it was just, I was like, is it gonna happen? Whatever it is it gonna happen? I don't really know. And then the third day, I remember that I had a little bit of one of the things that I was being really sober from. We're not gonna talk about that on the internet open, but I had remember I'd been saving it for myself when I was really sober. So, I took part in that. And then I had this vision. I had this vision of where I'd come from, what I needed to do, who I was, what my purpose was, really. Now that I have the language for it, that's really what it was. It was what my purpose was. It was very direct and also indirect at the same time. It was my spirit purpose, my spirit's purpose. You know how people talk about like your soul's purpose? It was like my spirit's purpose. I don't include the word soul in my practice a lot of the times, not to be like discriminatory around the soul. That's not how I feel about it. It's just a different sort of language for me. So if that is applicable for you in your practice, then also you could probably say it was like a soul's purpose. I just don't particularly sit with that word very often. So for discernment on a personal level, in case you feel like related to the story at all, I was sitting with that spirit purpose, and I remember when it was like a meditative state that I had gotten into, meditative, and there was oh, thank you, Spirit, for this reminder. There was a point in the vision where it was basically like what I do now. I was teaching somebody how to use how far do you want me to go into this, Spirit? How deep do you need me to tell this story? What information do you need me to share with people? I was giving educational information on practicing portal work in the vision. Educational information on practicing portal work, and in the end, it was like I remember it was like hours long in the vision, but I don't remember I remember having a conversation, but then when I woke up, I was like, I remember speaking very clear words, but I don't remember any of the words now, and so that was a very, it was different. It is what it is. And then I got to a point in the vision where in the educational space, I was talking about choice and choosing the will, right? The will, making decisions, the freedom of choice, the freedom of decision. Like we might be starting here right now, but we can choose from where we are. We can choose. There's choice from where we are. And so in the educational vision space, I was like, this is my favorite part. You just get to choose. And then my spirit, because it was a spirit vision, right? So my spirit, how do you want me to talk about that? My spirit made the very active decision to become this body, to become this person. And that's when I woke up. It was like I got slammed back into my body. I saw my spirit choose me and choose my story and choose my life. And I jolted up. And I was like, it was at the time, like, me telling that story, it feels just like a normal thing that I would experience these days, but at the time, it was like this huge thing, like, my perspective on everything had shifted and altered, and, like, I was very different in my heart and in my head after that, and I remember coming back to my work after that, and I was telling the story to some people. Most people didn't care about it, most people didn't give a shit, they didn't care. It is what it is. There's a couple people who are really interested in it, and I could tell by the way that there was one person, the way that she talked about it, she was like, "Yeah, somebody told me once," not me, but this other person, this is what she said. She was like, "Yeah, somebody told me once that I have gifts in the spirit or that, like, I have the ability to do that, but I'm not ever gonna choose it. I'm not ever gonna choose it." And I was like, "Interesting. Why would you?" Then the question of, like, "Why would you not choose that?" started to come up, and I was like, "I don't understand, but I don't need to understand, I guess." And so but that was the start of it. That was the start of it, and then after that, Spirit had me go on this big, long 7-year initiatory experience of a journey, and with the initiation now being closed, I'm back in the same town, I'm back in the same place, and I was out on a run the other day at that same park because again, it's one of my favorite parks. I'm out on a run at that same park, and I was like, because when I'm out in nature like that, even if I'm running, okay, I'm out in the sun, I'm out in nature, Spirit's talking to me. So I was out on a run, Spirit was talking to me, and I was like, wait, I gotta hold on. Let me just stand and look at the water for a second. Let me just stand here. I just gotta rest for a second. And then I saw that land where I first had that vision telling me about the hurricane and me getting out of town and then having this like big calling put on me. I was like, I haven't gone back. I don't even know how many times I've been to this park since then. And I haven't been back. I haven't returned. I haven't returned. Interesting. I need to go do that. I need to do it right now. So I went back and I sat with the land and I just like gave so much reverence and so I just gave gratitude and I was grateful and I was giving gratitude to the land and I was giving gratitude to the land and I was giving gratitude to the land and I was giving gratitude to the indigenous spirits of the land because at the time when I first got that vision I did not have the language to give reverence to the indigenous spirits. So I was giving gratitude to the indigenous spirits of the land. I was giving gratitude to the spirits of the sky and the spirits up high. I was giving gratitude and I was working in my gratitude. I was offering the gratitude. And then Spirit was giving me messages about what still has yet to come or what still from those visions is not yet here and made some things clear for me. And I'm very grateful for that because there's some things working and moving and I needed to know about it. And then Spirit gave me another placement. Spirit gave me another placement. So here we go, I guess. Not I guess. Just like here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here I go. Here we go. If you want to come with me, here I go. It was a really incredible thing, especially now that the initiation for me is like really actually completely fully done. Sitting as mother priestess, that was crazy. A spirit's been telling me about the responsibility of that, sitting as mother priestess, and as Valkyria. Like, there's so many other. I was thinking about this earlier today. There's so many other like initiatory rites that I keep undercover because not everybody needs to know about it. You know, sometimes not everybody needs to know about it. It just needs to be for me, me and spirit. That's what I see. That's what it needs to be. Yeah, and it is. I always regard secrecy as like a highly sacred thing. So if you ever are in the secrecy too, good for you. Good for you. So there's a lot that I keep undercover, but there's a lot that I also am like, very open about on the internet because I think it's important. I didn't learn about a lot of this stuff without other people's stories or books or the experience. Like there's elders, like there's just things that you don't learn. Thank you, 1111 on the clock. There's things you don't learn and can't turn if the stories aren't shared. So thanks for keeping me prepared, spirit. That's really true. That's really true. My goodness. But yeah, that was a really good moment. Thanks for listening to the story. That was a really good moment the other day. I got to return. I finally got to return. I finally got to close the circle, really, is what happened. Interesting. I finally got to close the circle, and the spirit gave me some more information about things that needed to be done and some things that are actually going to be kind of fun. Some of it's going to be work. That's true. And it's going to be kind of fun. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to that. There's something that spirit told me when I was sitting there on the land about what's really about to happen for me. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really, 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 really looking forward to it. I think it's gonna be great, I think it's gonna be wonderful. Yeah, so good. Oh my god, that was a great bedtime story, Thanks. Oh, some things just gotta stay secret. Some things do have to stay secret. Just, keep it as it is. Oh my goodness. Oh, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. That was a good story. I'm grateful I got to share that story. I told my friend that I was talking to yesterday about it too, and there's some other clarity that came through. That was a crazy time. Spirit's been, how do I explain this? Now that one initiation is done, Spirit is looking at me saying, I got another one for you. I got another one. Are you gonna I got another one. Spirit's just looking at me. I'm looking at spirit. Spirit's looking at me. I'm looking at spirit. Spirit's looking at me. That's how I feel recently. I got another one. Spirit looking at me. Me looking at spirit. Spirit looking at me. Okay, so what then? Like, that's how I feel recently. It's like, okay, so yeah, like clearly, obviously, like, did you just see I went through 7 years of that? I'm gonna pick this one up too. And like, what do you need me to do? That's how I feel recently. It's like, what do you need me to do? And so again, just like following my discernment of what I do need to do and going through that has been good. But and they go together. That's how I feel. I didn't even realize that till just now. That's how I feel recently. Spirit looking at me looking at spirit, just us looking at each other. Just us looking at each other. Get ridiculous. Is it ridiculous? Or is it really how you feel? Because there's a magic seal. It's really how I feel. So goodness. So good. I accidentally meditated on a peace calming spell for 3 hours. That sounds incredible, honestly. That sounds so good. Also, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for hearing me share, Yes. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. So good. Oh, wow. I was up so late answering the call, 3.5 hours of sleep, but I know I just needed to be. I understand that. That's where the call came from me because I said, I can't remember if I said that in the group chat or if I said that in the podcast. I don't remember. Sometimes I don't remember where I say things because I say things enough that there's enough channels on the internet. I don't remember where I say it, but I remember saying that. And that was my call. That was where I got my call. There's been a couple things coming through of like, that's where the call is. The story I just shared, the return of that, more work to come. Me looking at spirit, spirit looking at me looking back at spirit, spirit saying, are you really ready? Yeah, I'm really ready, spirit. I'm really ready, spirit. You need me to declare that in front of all these people? Yeah, I'm really ready, actually. That's really interesting. Why you having me talk about that here? maybe it just needs to be, yeah, I'm really ready. I'm really ready. As long as you can keep me steady and you can keep me in the places I need to be when it comes to my career energy, then yeah, I'm ready. And yeah, I'm ready. And yeah, I'm ready. Okay, Spirit, your turn. Okay, Spirit, your turn. Yeah, I'm locked in now. You know, it is. Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Speak on dream work initiations. What you mean, Dakota? Dream work initiations. Give me more information. I might be able to help. You know, new tattoo time for real though. Ooh, what you gonna do? Ooh, what you gonna do? There's a couple tattoos. There's one tattoo I keep thinking about recently that I put on several months ago. Sometimes they take time. Sometimes for me, tattoos is like I'm either in the shadow and I'm giving myself a tattoo because I feel like I know that it needs to happen and then it's going to turn into something, or I've already been through enough of it and I got to consecrate and finalize so that it's just in the ride now. So there's one that I activated a while ago. That's kind of how my magic works back and forth. There's one that I activated a while ago that I keep thinking about, and I'm like, seems like it's surfacing. It seems like it's surfacing. It feels like it might be kind of a slow roll, or it might take some time to surface, but interesting. Interesting. I'm ready too. You know what? I am too. And there's a lot about how do I say? There's just a lot the spirit's bringing to me recently. Oh my goodness. More than I'm used to be honest, which is on I feel very weird, strange, different. It's different. I feel different saying that because I feel like spirit's already been asking a lot of me, or spirit's already been putting me in these different. But it's like now it's turned up a little bit. Now it's like a little bit of it's like a more intense frequency, or more intense frequency. I guess that's a good way to explain it, in the sense of like the electricity, but also in the sense of like how frequently things are happening for me in spirit. That's also, it's a little bit, it's like turned up a little bit now. I'm feeling probably several years again, it'll be turned up again. But for now, that it's like not cranked up, but it's turned up. It got turned up recently. So I'm like in this adjustment period and it's like how do I say? It feels like I don't need to adjust because I'm already just in it already. I'm already just in it. I'm already in it. I'm already in it. And also I'm having to adjust to not being this other person. This feels natural. What I'm doing right now in the frequency I'm in, it feels natural. And I also am having to remind myself I'm not going to be this other person again. I'm not going to be that. So it's like I just have to keep, because we're creatures of habit, right? So I keep having to remind like the habitual animalistic sort of trained human, the human me, instead of the spirit me, the human me. I keep having to remind human me that like I'm not that anymore. And we're just this now. We being me, we being here, me. We're just this now. We're just this now. I'm just this. Yeah, we're here now. That's it. It's different. It's different. So that's been honestly the difficult part for me. Has been like just allowing this other version that already has existed of me to rest. Just letting them rest. You don't have to get up. Don't be stressed. Just rest. Be there. Rest. Let this new version live. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, sorry, not initiations. Just how to get started doing dream work if I'm new to it. Have frequent experiences with vivid dreams. Well, that depends on what you want. One of the things that I heard about years ago, I'll give you a little like starting point. One of the things I heard about years ago, and I heard this, somebody asked, let me read somebody asked on YouTube about dream work and like doing dream work. So for clarity's purpose, for people who do not see the comment who are on TikTok. Um yeah, okay. Moving into it. The dream work, one of the things, and this, okay, so let me go back to the origins of it. For me, I found this when I was looking up things about Cider, which is the magic of the Vidvas in like the Norse stories and the Norse spaces and places. So just for reverence of kind of like where that origin for me comes from, the I was doing some research on Seidr, and it's for people who want to go and research it. It's Seidr, Seidr. So, some people I think too, like the more like common pronunciation of it's probably cider, cider. I can't even say it like that though. I've like trained my tongue to speak it in a different way. The cider, cider, cider magic. Okay, so that I was doing research on that, and dream work is really like dreams are really involved with that. They're really involved with that kind of magic. They're really, 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 really. They're really involved with that kind of magic. I mean, like, really involved. Really, 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 really. There's dreams I've had years and years and years ago that have still come that are still in the process of going like, it's like, like, it's like years long fate work, those sorts of dreams. At least for me, it can be. So one of the things I started doing when I found out about that kind of magic, I was like, wait a minute, I naturally do that. I got to train in it. One of the things I started doing was before I go to sleep at night, I'd ask for specific dreams. I have clarity on this thing. I need to know about this thing. I need to understand about this thing. And what it is doing on like a more scientific level is just strengthening the connection between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Because then it's like your conscious mind is talking to your subconscious mind, is like, hey, can you figure this out while I'm down and out? Can you figure this out? Please and thanks. I need help. So it's like an active connection between the two of them. But it's also, again, for me, that's a part of my Scyther magic. So yeah, it's a good tool. That's a good tool. Good tool, good tool. Yeah. Good tool, good tool. It's a good practice. It also helps you to help like work with the recall because then it's like you actually have something to recall about. It's like, do I remember my dream? What was happening in the dream? Oh yeah, I remember I asked that question before I went to sleep. And I would make sure that it was like layered into my mind. Like I wouldn't just ask the question because I've done so much meditative practices. I can and I don't know if other people will resonate with this or not because this is my own kind of headspace. But interesting mental magic, one of the things I'm pretty good at doing is kind of like putting layers around things in my mind. So when I would ask those questions, I would make sure that it was like, even if I asked it kind of out here on like a surface level, I would make sure that I got it into more of like a space of like, I feel grounded in this. I feel like I know I'm going to remember this when I wake up. I know I'm going to remember this question because there were some nights when I was practicing that's when I was working at the bar. So I was like, working all the time, making art all the time. So there's some nights I'd go to sleep like, it is what it is. Not ready to go to sleep or how do I explain that? Not ready to go to sleep or just like also I drank a lot of coffee back then, so that's a part of it as well. It is what it is. And also I had to make sure I was going to remember the question. What the heck? The clip broke off. It didn't break off. I mean, I broke it off just now, but all right. Well, no more grip for that. Leave it be. Interesting. I'm just going to let it rest. I feel like I'm going to need to unpack that in a second, but you know what? It is what it is. Okay. But yeah, it would help me to like center it. Cause if you can really like think about it and center it instead of just letting it float around or just kind of asking the question and then not holding on to it. Again, the grip, not holding on to it. Sometimes you gotta ask the question, you gotta hold on to it for a second. Okay, I really feel it. I really feel this question. I am gonna remember this when I wake up. I promise myself I'm gonna remember this when I wake up. This feels good. I feel like I am. This is good. Okay. And then you go to sleep, then you have the dream, and then it helps with recall because then that question is centered in the mind, which means it's going to be easier for you. It's kind of like going fishing, You can't go fishing if you're not holding on to the rod or if the rod isn't grounded somewhere on the earth. If the rod's just laying there, the fish is going to get the hook and then the whole thing is going to fall in the water. So you have to thank you for that spirit. That's true. You have to hold on to the question. You have to hold on to the fishing rod to be able to retrieve the dream. So that requires that you really sit with it before you go to sleep. You really even if it's just, you just got to make sure it's stuck, Yeah. I like the fishing rod. That was pretty good. That was that was pretty good. Yeah, that's a good dream tool. So, yeah. Uh-huh, uh-huh. Very vivid dreams. Now everybody's talking about dreams. I love it. Now everybody's talking about dreams. So good. Very vivid dreams. Create my I love no, creating your own dream code. I love that. I love that. I don't think I've ever heard somebody talk about that. I've heard people talk about creating their own divination tools. Interesting. Thank you for sharing that. I haven't read mine in a minute, but I still get symbols all the time. Oh my gosh. I am incredibly, like, in love with that. Thank you so much for sharing that. Oh my goodness. Mhm. I had a dream. Oh, wow. Oh, whoa. 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 That's crazy. Behaling. That's crazy. Wow. 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 It's weird to me that my hair is I catch myself playing with my hair these days. It's weird to me that my hair is even long enough to, like, twirl. Anyways, I missed it. I missed my hair. I'm so grateful that it's back. Need some clarity on direction, for sure. First, thanks for the question. That was a good question. That's true. That's true. Okay, I think I am gonna go. I'm getting kinda tired. What time is it? It's like 11:30. We've been on for like 2 hours about that. That's true. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna rest. Probably gonna do I need to eat? Hydrate? I don't know what else I need to do tonight to take care of myself. I'm gonna go take care of myself. I'll be back on. I'm done with sessions now, so my time is just completely content. Here we are. I'm so excited. It's so good. More than excited. I'm more than excited. I haven't the word. Probably also because I'm, like, drifting off into sleepy land. I was talking about dreams too, LOL. So, yeah, so I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have a great night. I'm gonna go sleep, and I'll see you probably soon. Thanks for the support. Thanks for hanging around. Thanks for being here. Yeah. I don't know if you can see yeah, no, you can't. The cat has caught my sleeve. There we go. Okay, Imma hang up. He probably needs me too. I'll see y'all soon.